sweet strangelings. You've probably been wondering where I have been, and it's been a long time coming. I stopped making this podcast at towards the very end of 2022, and now we're literally in March of 2024. And I want to make this introduction about why I stopped making content on, well, podcast episodes, why my brand has changed, and what has been going on in 2023 and what I want to do going into 2024. So, this introduction is going to be a little bit long winded. So, just a caution with that. And in addition to that, too, I'm going to be talking about music and manifestation, and specifically a recent video that I did on the short form side of Christopher Walken and Dune and those ties there. So this is gonna be a really packed episode, but it's a good one to get into since I just watched Dune. So let's get started into why I stopped making episodes or podcast episodes. So to be honest with you guys, in 2022, I was dealing with so much burnt out and insecurities. And part of being a content creator, it's strange to even say that, is you want to make content for the community that you foster and the people that are consuming that content. And I know that I've tried so many different things along the way, and TikTok has changed so much. And that was literally like my bread and butter. I made content specifically for TikTok, but I realized that there are so many awesome things about other social media platforms, including podcasting. I also felt like the more I spent time on a video, I was like, I'm going to bore people. I think that was my own insecurity and my lack of confidence of like, okay, if I'm talking and if I'm doing this, no one cares and I'm boring and I have nothing to offer. And I would get in my head about that. And this is for anyone listening that also is a creative of some kind, whether you are a content creator, whether you are a writer, whether you are doing crafts or you have a small business. I think just in general, your presence and your voice is unique enough. And I know that sounds so cliche and Hallmark card ish, but I promise you, we all have something unique about ourselves and perspectives. And I just spent a lot of time, especially last year, really reminding myself of that. And so I stopped making these podcast episodes and I started focusing on my content and what I wanted to do. And to be honest with you guys, I have a very interesting or had an interesting situation of being a content creator. I worked with one of the largest media companies in the world, which was BuzzFeed, and I was making content for them. I was doing true crime episodes. I was developing ideas for not just for the brand itself, but for other creators that also worked for BuzzFeed and wanted to post on the true crime affiliation social media outlets. And I also was helping launch a brand new paranormal channel that was very short lived because of budget and everything like that, that got laid off. And I realized that I just was reverting back to content that I enjoy, but it simply wasn't a big passion, if you know what I mean. I like talking about true crime. I like talking about creepypastas and ghost stories, but the big portion of me and who I am, I'm a medium. I'm a psychic medium, and I love talking about the metaphysical and those things. And as a matter of fact, it's because of that's why I got into learning about unexplained phenomenon and all of this stuff to begin with. And I also met my husband through a psychic development circle. So I spent last year working for that company, but also being a host for a YouTube and podcast channel called Something Scary. Now, we've taken a hiatus in October, and to be honest with you guys, I can't speak much on it, but I don't foresee myself making any more animated videos for that YouTube channel, and they currently have the host Blair on the podcast side. So it just seems like there's just not room for me in that space at this moment. And I realized that I was giving so much time and energy to everything else, other brands. And that was taking so much time away from me. And I know that people always say, don't apologize, take care of your mental health, and that's fine. But I am sorry that I stopped making this podcast. And I'm all over the place at times. And that's just who I am. I'm clinically OCD and ADHD. I am neurodivergent. And I do get bored easily, but one thing that has always stayed consistent is the fact that I love ghost stories. I love the paranormal. But yes, my content does change from time to time. And with TikTok allowing longer videos, I was experimenting and I just felt like I lost my footing. I'll be even more vulnerable here. I've lost so many followers on TikTok, and I noticed that maybe those people that followed me for true crime, scary stories, didn't like my psychic stuff, probably didn't like me putting on makeup and story times, and that's okay. I think for those of you that are still here, I really appreciate you guys. I thank you so much for if you follow me on YouTube and Instagram and other social medias that are not TikTok. I really do appreciate you guys so, so, so much from the bottom of my heart. It's tough because sometimes I'm just like, talking to my phone essentially. And you guys are out there. I've actually met somebody that follows me at a movie theater and they're so happy to see me, or just little things like that along the way. And sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm such a small creator. No one cares about what I'm doing and no one knows. But then I'm out there and there's people that are also creators that follow me. And it's just amazing. It's amazing. Seriously. It's like, thank you guys so much. So, what I've also spent since the hiatus with Something Scary, since me being laid off from BuzzFeed, I've been focusing on just rebranding myself. I still want to do ghost stories and I foresee myself doing that on here, but I also want to talk about the metaphysical and my experiences. Those of you that don't know, I have been also working on things offline because it's always good to see people in real life. But one of those is you've been doing psychic development circles in the LA County area. I even got to do I even had the wonderful opportunity to do a paranormal workshop in Burbank. And that was amazing. And a little bit of context, there was this shop called the Wish House in Burbank, and it was this striped house. And the owner was a medium, or she is a medium. She's moving over to Santa Monica. And we decided to, between myself and Ashley, she's known as Pythian Priestess online, we made a workshop. She wielded the spirit board and that was her workshop. Amber did a meditation segment and I had my paranormal equipment, and everyone got split up in groups of 4 and we rotated throughout the night, and then later on we compared our answers and what we got, and it was the coolest thing ever. I did a live stream on my Instagram about that. And then the second workshop was instead of Ashley, we had Sapphire Sandalo, and we talked about the lean method and our like that on her YouTube side. And I'm hoping that we get to do a follow up later down the road, so we'll see where that goes. But that's kind of what I've been up to, and also I've rebranded to Makeup Story Times with psychic tips and things that I know, and making that a little bit more as the forefront. And I really want, if you're listening to this, please, if you follow me on my social media accounts, if you can message me or email me, my Linktree has my email. Let me know what you think of this episode and what your thoughts are with my content. I really am really, really, really interested to hear what you have to say regarding my content. Do you love the makeup story times? I feel like I've noticed a huge success on Instagram with that. So I think influx of people do like that. And I want to talk about manifestation stuff and ghost stories and all that fun stuff. So anyway, I know I rambled for like 10 minutes straight at this point. So I'm grateful for that. Another quick announcement to look out for is that later this month, since we're in Women's History Month, I've paired up with Creepy Kingdom. We're going to be talking about women in the paranormal space. So stay tuned for that. That's all I'm going to say. Because you guys, some of you have watched my Halloween special on the CW Spirit Squad. And I wanted to talk about that and how it was done, what my thoughts are on the aftermath, so on. If you want to watch the episode, it is up on my Linktree. So there's all that fun stuff. All right, so let's get started with music and manifestation. So, I recently did a video on Christopher Walken and how there's ties between the Dune movie and Christopher Walken starring in a music video by Fatboy Slim, and it's called Weapon of Choice. Now, I remember when I was a kid and I remember seeing this music video. I'm pretty sure it won a MTV Movie Award. Actually, let's look this up because I'm pretty sure I'm right. So I just looked it up. So the Weapon of Choice video won 6 awards at the 2001 MTV Video Music Awards. And I remember that being a thing and watching it, sitting there. I was like 10, I think. Yeah, I was 10. And I was sitting there watching it in this TV that we had in my bedroom. And anyway, so I thought that like I never understood the concept of why he was floating around, but I was like, all right, I dig it. It's whatever, cool. Christopher Walken. And anyways, so I went to watch Dune Part 2, what, like 2 days ago or something like that. And I guess it didn't really hit me. Music kind of did because I was like, where am I? I feel like Christopher Walken has some sci-fi stuff going on here. And that's the thing too, because so I'm a millennial. I'm like in my 30s. And I'm like, who is watching this music video? Like who? And so anyway, so we watched the movie, and I'm gonna get my thoughts about this movie as well. I actually really enjoyed the movie. I really did. I watched the first part and it was slow, but I sat through the movie theater with that and I didn't regret my decision with that. I know some people like in this day and age, everything is so fast paced and everyone wants instant gratification. But I kind of miss these like old 3 hour part movies that are not like Marvel superhero movies. Yes, I love superhero movies, but I want to see other franchises and other movies and do deeper dives on that. But here's my thing with part two, I just feel like they didn't cover enough. Like, why is spice so important? Why, like more of like lineage of the family. Why does he do the voice thing? Kind of that they talked about in the first part, but I didn't get a chance to watch the first part before going into watching the second part. So it would have been nice for some clarification on that. The other thing too is that they changed Zendaya's character, so I'm really glad about that. Zendaya's character in the book, I was told that she's supposed to be like concubine, and she agrees to still have spoiler alert. Well, actually, I don't know because we don't know if the films are going to go like this, but maybe skip like 3 minutes of this. But she agrees to be a concubine and have Paul, Timothy's character, his kids, while be married. And I'm kind of glad that it seems like they're changing her character. And I hope they do because, come on. Do I need to say why? So, anyway, but with that being said, I want to segue into that, right? So Dune has like these sci-fi film. We've seen these sci-fi films where teleporting or floating in the air and flying with like technology from the future allows them to fly essentially or levitate or whatever you want to call it. And so I saw that in Dune, and then my friend, she brings this up. She's like, "Well, did you know that like, lyrics of Weapon of Choice says walk without rhythm, it won't attract the worm." And now if you watch Dune, you know that like have to move a certain way through the sand so they don't provoke the worm. Wait a minute, why is this going off? Do you see this? Oh, obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, you can't. But the video, the little cat ball is going off by the Ouija board. And I literally just got done telling my husband that I really think that my Ouija board has something on it. But I don't want to scare people with that because like the boards are not scary. Anyway, so now with understanding that the lyrics say that and in the movie, one can't help but think, did the music manifest Christopher Walken's role in Dune? Now, Christopher Walken is an A-lister. I highly doubt that the guy has to audition for movies. And I'm sure he might say he did, but I think he didn't. I think he manifested it. That's just me. Just kidding. But no, really. So he doesn't really have to like, audition for things. And I truly think that the movie might have manifested this. But here's my other thing with it. One can argue that because he was in the music video and people know that music video and it won so many awards, maybe that was like the idea is having some element of that music video and putting it into the movie Dune, right? Because the director is super into this franchise from what I understood. And so maybe that could be a thing, right? Now, I haven't heard anything about whether that played an influence or not, but if someone knows more about this information, find me on Instagram. Email me. Let me know. And if that's the case, fine, right? But it doesn't negate that so many people use music to manifest. So I made a song. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it until I hit my goal. Let's put it this way. But I made a song to manifest certain goals within my career, within social media, and that's fine. And I think it's been kind of working if I'm being honest. And there was this TikTok video. I think her name was Twitchy Witch or something like that. Gave her or I screenshotted her username on my video that I did. But I'll put it in the description on YouTube. So she talks about how Disney princesses are strong manifestors versus the villains. And the reason is this is because they sing what they want. They sing what their heart desires. And music, most of us use music to elevate ourselves, to soothe ourselves. Is this still isn't weird that the cat ball is going off? Now, if you guys are wondering why would a cat ball go off? So a lot of the times paranormal investigators will use cat balls to detect movement of any kind. And it's like a cheap way to detect motion from unseen forces, if you will. Provided that nothing is making it move and there's no wind there, that could be something. Who knows? I bought regular cat balls off Amazon and I put it there just in case, but I mean, also, I will say this. I have my Ouija board and then I also have Johnny, who is my haunted doll next to it. So it could be one or the other. I don't know. I'm not focused on that, but thank you for making your appearance on my video. Where was I? So they talk about how Disney princesses manifest that and music elevates us and it's a way to clear our conscience and just enjoy that moment and chant words over and over again. Because they also say too that another way to manifest is through affirmations. So when you repeat something like, I will be a manager at this job, and you just repeat it over and over and over again, you're apparently like chanting it into fruition and reality. And you're shifting your state of mind. Now, that's the idea with manifestation. So when it comes to music, music is a very strong tool. One of the things I will say with this is that if you ever feel scared and you're in a haunted location or you're experiencing a spiritual attack or anything like that, music is so strong that it will help you ward off any of those things. When I was doing the ambulance scared me. When I was doing the paranormal investigation at the Leonis Adobe, a lot of the times when we were in between takes, I would be listening to music to just like not feed into what anyone else is feeding into because they were scared or they wanted a haunting. I would listen to music to feel like elevated, to feel good, to feel cleansed. Really, music is a very strong banishing tool. And even like Stranger Things, when Max is floating in the air because Vecna is attacking her, and they try to bring her back to reality, it's through music. Like that has some metaphysical components in how people actually use music to manifest and ward off things. It's not too far from reality. So, anyway, with that being said, I truly think that yes, maybe on just like you know, an off chance that he was in the music video and the director or the casting people were like, we have to have Christopher Walken could be a thing. I really think music helps manifest. And I really think that like if you are into manifesting, then you should be listening to music. Now, one of my friends, Brittany Crabb, you may know her, she's on YouTube. She did a whole video on how she manifests things. And one of the ways that she manifests is through music. One of her songs that she uses is Miracles Happen, right? I think it's what's called, I'm gonna look it up. Miracles. It's like a Myra Miracles Happen, and I'm pretty sure that was on Princess Diary, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's on Princess Diary. And that's a genius song. Miracles happen, and it's just so positive and uplifting and so on. I also noticed too, when I was a teenager, I listened to so much like sad music, angsty music, and I was so sad back then. And when I got in my early 20s to mid 20s, I listened to a lot of like party music. I wasn't a raver ever, really, honestly. Like, I've always been like a very boring straight edge person. Well, in some things here and there, but for the most part, I've always been a very straight edge person. But I loved listening to EDM music. It would just get me into like this very meditative state. And there's this one song where I would listen to, and I really think it helped me manifest getting over my breakup a lot quicker. Well, not manifest, but like put me in a headspace where I could get over my breakup of 7 years at one point. And so, anyway, so all this to say that music is a very powerful tool to manifest and do your affirmations and chant things. So, here's another thing. If you have a song that you want to do and you are a singer, you should record your own song, listen to it all the time while you're in the shower, before going to bed, to help you manifest things. See, one of the things that I've done since I'm not a singer, I'm serious, I'm a horrible singer. I had someone recently tell me, like, I feel like you would be a good singer. I'm like, Absolutely not. I'm not a singer." I was in choir in middle school, and I was always rated very low on the scale. It was embarrassing. We had to do like a star bang. God, I can't even say it. Star. I'm not gonna try saying it. The Star Spangled Banner. I was trying to say spangled or something. I don't know what I was trying to say. Star Spangled Banner. That was like a song to do the testing on our singing levels, and I would always score very low. So embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I know. Anyway, so music is just a really great tool to manifest things. So there's like I'm gonna read to you guys the steps in music manifestation. It is there's a website called selfpause.com. Oops. And I just liked how they laid it out for the most part. Like, what is music? How does it affect the brain? And we covered that already. But here are the steps. How does music help with manifestation? So just like as a referral. I already mentioned a bunch of things already, like a TikTok video, my friend Brittany Crabb. But music helps with manifestation. So music is a powerful tool and it helps you focus, clear your thoughts. But it also is essential for manifestation because it allows you to direct your energy towards what you can create. And number three, it supports emotional amplification so that you may increase sentiments of thankfulness. That's so true. Whenever I listen to music, I just feel so happy and grateful, especially when it's like music that is so uplifting. Also, I've noticed this too. People use music to keep them focused while they're working out. And I truly think that that plays a part in like staying focused in that goal. Then, when a song becomes stuck in your brain, it helps you recall and all the good feelings that it evokes, and it'll help you materialize. And as a result, if you associate music with your manifestations, you'll keep doing so much more regularly. So, as I mentioned, I'm not a good singer. And so I use like AI tool feature to make my own song. And I like, again, I'll show it to you guys eventually, but like right now, I want to like bring more of it into fruition. It helped with one of my goals on Instagram. So, hey, but I'll bring the song later to you guys when I hit my goal. So that's all I have to say. Music manifestation, Christopher Walken, the video, and where have I been? So I don't anticipate that all of my podcast episodes will be in this exact format. Maybe, I don't know. I'll see. But I want to do actual ghost stories on here as well. I was doing on other platforms, but like my own brand and for you guys, because I know some of you guys really liked it when I was doing ghost stories. Again, let me know what you think. I'm going to be posting the video over on YouTube. So, again, thank you so much in advance. And please, if you can, give me a 5-star review on this podcast episode so we can continue having more of these episodes and also pushing this out to more people. And I will talk to you guys later. And remember to stay strange.